Scene script. Have you ever considered the impact of conflict on the most vulnerable, our children? It's a topic that's often overlooked, but it's one that carries immense weight. Children, the very symbol of innocence and hope, bear the brunt of the brutalities of conflict, a reality that's heart-wrenchingly evident in places like Gaza. Imagine the life of a child in such a situation. Their education is disrupted, making each day of learning a struggle. Their mental health suffers, with the trauma of war leaving deep, invisible scars that may never fully heal. Their overall well-being is compromised as they grapple with fear, uncertainty, and loss at an age when they should be exploring, growing, and dreaming. In Gaza, the Israeli bombardment has affected an alarming number of children. The United Nations Children's Fund estimates that 700,000 children have been forced to leave everything behind, their lives uprooted by the relentless violence. More than 30 individuals have lost their lives in northern Gaza's Jabalia refugee camp alone, following strikes that hit at least a dozen homes. And the impact goes beyond the immediate fear and devastation. Hospitals, the very places meant to heal and protect, are being forced to shut down, leaving these children with even fewer lifelines in this time of crisis. The plight of these children is not just a statistic, it's a reality that demands our attention. To fully understand the gravity of the situation, we need to take a step back and look at the series of events that led us here. Let's rewind to the initial Israeli airstrikes, an aggressive response to perceived threats from the Islamic Jihad movement. The sudden outbreak of violence lasted merely a weekend, yet it added another layer of trauma to the already scarred psyche of Palestinian children in the densely populated Strip. The casualty count included 17 children, and over 360 people were wounded. The impact on children didn't stop at physical wounds, though. With each successive conflict, the mental health crisis among these young ones intensifies. In fact, 91% of children in Gaza are estimated to suffer from conflict-related trauma. The effects range from refusal to leave their homes, problems with speech, to bedwetting and sleep disturbances. Half of Gaza's children are in dire need of mental health and psychosocial support. But the nightmare doesn't end there. As the violence escalated, the healthcare system in Gaza, already teetering on the brink of collapse, was pushed further into the abyss. All hospitals in northern Gaza were forced to shut down as Israeli forces continued their assault on medical facilities. With no safe shelters and a healthcare system in ruins, the children of Gaza, who make up about half of its population, were left even more vulnerable. Next, we turn to the humanitarian crisis that unfolded with the closure of all exit points and the refusal of entry for humanitarian aid. The water shortage in Gaza worsened, with hospitals running out of fuel and refugees lacking access to clean water. Even as promises were made to restore water services to southern Gaza, the reality on the ground remained unchanged. The damage to water infrastructure from Israel's bombing campaign against Hamas continued to hinder water delivery. From the initial airstrikes to the continued attacks on medical facilities, from the psychological trauma suffered by children to the deepening humanitarian crisis, the timeline of tragedy in Gaza is a stark reminder of the cost of conflict. The situation continues to worsen with each passing day, and the children of Gaza are paying the highest price. Now that we understand the dire situation, the question is, what can we do? We live in a world where our voices are more potent than ever before. We can use this strength to raise awareness about the ongoing conflict and its devastating effects on children in Gaza. We can share articles, blogs, and documentaries that shed light on the situation. Social media is a powerful tool, and using it to spread knowledge about the crisis can lead to a better understanding and, hopefully, action. Donations are another crucial way to help. Numerous organizations are tirelessly working to provide aid to these children, and they need our support. UNICEF, for instance, is on the ground in Gaza, providing life-saving assistance to the children affected by the conflict. They provide access to clean water, education, healthcare, and psychosocial support to help children cope with the trauma they've experienced. By donating to organizations like UNICEF, you're directly contributing to these vital services, helping to alleviate the suffering of these children. But we can do more than just raise awareness and donate. We can actively advocate for the rights of these children. We can write to our local representatives, urging them to take a stand against the violence and push for peaceful solutions. We can participate in peaceful protests, sign petitions, and join advocacy groups. We can insist on the protection of children's rights in all circumstances, as stated in the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. Involvement in educational and cultural exchange programs can also make a difference. These initiatives foster understanding and empathy, creating a platform for dialogue and peace building. Remember, change often starts with understanding, and understanding starts with conversation. Remember, every action, no matter how small, can make a difference in the lives of these children. They need us now more than ever.